this, I will be giving you the thing I sent you in the chat earlier today. Part of this will verbalize that. All right, and tell us when we're all ready. I assume we actually are. Okay, great. Although just over a day ago, the plan was to make every effort to alter the magical properties of the mist, the slaughter at your encampment has changed your trajectory. After learning from the Witchblades that the grinning sickness is incurable, but that they have the only reliable method of treatment, you were forced to align yourselves with the purposes of capturing the knock-knocks and of their purposes of capturing the knock-knocks. In doing so, you may at least have access to a continued treatment for the plague that ravages some of your minds and the minds of your companions. Before you left with the Witchblades, you had some conversations independent of your usual allies. Luminous, you spoke to Mahir about the wisdom in being secretive of your task to kill Sorsinius, as neither of you know what kinds of loyalties Osint has. Osint, you spoke with the Mantiki woman, and although you learned that she is growing gradually more comfortable in the camp, she has been having dreams. You suspect that these dreams might be influenced by the power of the crown of domination, somehow inside her very essence. Killen, you spoke with your ancestor, holds the ghosts, and learns that the grinning sickness may in fact be able to be exorcised by joy and love. However, your attempts to use this knowledge to help Flies with the Raven did not work. You've left Taranis to try to determine what your ancestor meant and how that wisdom can be used. You departed your encampment at daybreak with a handful of the Witchblades of Wirrick, including the mighty Lucius Otho, the Hand of the Coven. After a mostly quiet trek northward into the jungle, you found a strange meadow with strange happenings and an even stranger tiny 2-foot-tall man who identified himself as Mr. Music. And this will be a generalized dialogue of what happened at the end. Welcome to you all. Glad to give you some assistance here in the place where all that is but the good that I allow. What brings you here? Did you come seeking fortune, perhaps? You wouldn't be the first. I've given fortunes upon fortunes to all sorts of people. Or did you come perhaps seeking some great strength, some great power by which to smite your enemies? I can do that. I can fill your bellies with all sorts of things. I love to give people exactly the things they want. So what brought you here? Why are you here? Oh, you're hunting knock-knocks, you say. So that's what you're calling the old jungle elves. Well, did you come here specifically for that purpose, finding help with that? Oh, you came by accident? That doesn't happen very often. Most people come by seeking me, but I'm not opposed to seeing where this goes. By the way, it's only us here, you three and I. I've decided that the rest of your group aren't quite the people I want to be involved with just now. Worry not, they're fine in a space between time. So, you came by accident, you say? Interesting. So you don't even know who I am? I'm what you call a domain lord. You've heard of such. Very good. You can just call me Mr. Music. Yes, that's what we'll go with for now. For I play the music of a person's heart. That is, the music that they might make of their imaginative desires. What you've brought me here, very interesting. Never seen anything quite like it before. And yet, I have, since it has happened in the future. Maybe by the time you're out, you'll understand. You ask what you think it is that you've brought me. Why, none but the visages of your desires. You see, the mind within your mind decided that that's what you wanted to see. All that you examine now is what you decided you'd like to see. You see, it's the mind between, above, behind, and within the mind that plays here. And you might not understand that now, but rest assured, knowing what that means is critical if you plan to get the real meat of what can happen here. I love my small domain. Of course, it's the only place that I can go, so I've got to make it entertaining for myself. I believe that we could make some beautiful music here, you and I. I've got high standards for my guests. We may, in fact, get along at some future time. Of course, if we do, it's only because we have. You ask if there's some kind of control that you have here. Well, yes, it is control, but it's the control behind the mind, above the mind, within the mind, below the mind, one such as this. Does that make sense to you? That's the control you have. Probably not. If it did, it's only because it does, and if it does, it's only because it will, and if it will, it's only because it already has. On the grand cosmological scale, we are but specks in the dust of the infinite, but among the residuum of the infinite, we can exercise some level of control. But it's not us that does, you see. It's the us behind the us, within the us, maybe above, maybe below, but it's the us that is because of the us that was, and the us that was is the us that is, and the us that will be will only be because of the us beyond what will be. Ah, but here's the crux of it. Who makes your decisions? What's that? And to this, Osen says, the us that is. Yes, but is that fated to happen? And Osen says, according to your logic. Right again. But when is such a fate decided? And Osen says, when the decision is made. And can a decision like that be reversed? And Osen says, not if it will be, and only will be because it is, and because it was. Oh, I think I'm going to like you. But I digress. To understand what this place is, you have to understand that all you said is accurate. There is fate, and fate is bound, yet somehow, even what is fated can suffer a paradox. Even as we speak, we are in a moment that is not even a moment, since no time at all is passing here. And I can identify things about you, all of you. I can see that you are in need of a thing like me at this point in your journey. So let's make some music together. Tell me what it is you want, and it will be here. But here's the rub. You won't be able to take it with you when you go. Think very carefully about this, because if you can solve what all this means, you'll leave this place better than how you came. But if you fail to understand what all this means, I can't guarantee you'll leave any better than how you came. And then he plays a little tune on his harmonica, and that's where we will start. What would you like to do?
Do we take the
I'm
opportunity?
glad my character is not a smart person, because I don't get it either.
So I don't have to pretend to be.
Yeah. I'm content to not be it.
Yeah, no pressure on me. I feel
hey,
like,
Zaddy, what's he talking about?
do we? I don't know.
Group huddle.
I was sort of following the night of, and then I reread it, and I was like, nope. And then I was sort of following again when he was reading it, and I feel like he's talking about like consciousness. But do we like take the opportunity to ask for? He said that whatever we ask for will be here, but we can't take it with us. So
I feel like
does that mean knowledge as well?
Yeah, my initial thought would be like, not that you want something like, so say like an example, like we want the cure for the grinning sickness, rather how to cure the grinning sickness permanently.
Right.
That way, so you can like have the knowledge you can take with you, so it's not something that you can take.
My initial thought is to ask about the source of the evil and the fog on the islands. Or just what the island is. But he alluded to in his monologue of the fact that if we want to understand what this place is at all, we have to understand what he's saying about is and was and will be and fate.
Yeah.
So I guess what makes this difficult to some degree is, I mean, we're on kind of the same quest right now, but each of us has a different motivation and a different desire to get out of this. So like, you want to ask about, you know, the evil and the fog. I'm thinking, you know, what's, you know, about my kind of side quest I haven't really gone on about the tree, which now, you know, the Witchblades are somewhat interested in as well. I don't even remember what Luminous is.
I'm trying to conquer the world.
He's trying to become king.
As of 1 day ago.
I
learned
I'm
I'm an heir to the king for the new world.
He just can't wait to be king.
So.
That's funny, Jackson.
Everybody saying, look right, look left.
And I just can't wait to be king.
So yeah, I figure maybe it sounds like we all individually get to ask for something though.
Yeah.
Because when we first got to this
Yeah.
place,
this
there was
group
all
thing?
individual like manifestations of what we were thinking.
Because then, like, because one of my thoughts also
Oh yeah.
is like obviously like my friend back in the realm where the reason I originally came was like the amulet to heal my friend. And I could find another option would be is like do I find out if this actually will heal her or not, or is it like some plot that they say could be an actual plot? But I'm like, how does that help? Maybe the question is how do you get off the island?
Well, that's why I thought about asking about the source of the fog.
Yeah.
Because if we know we
Oh.
can stop it, then
Yeah. No,
we
I know.
have
Yeah, yeah,
someone who might be able to help.
yeah.
But like Harris said, we're on like a side quest of healing the people that are with us, and so I wish I had more answers, or that I was as smart as Osint pretends to be.
Continues to just float somehow in the center of this space, playing
Just
this harmonica and
we're in a huddle.
looking around.
I get my pipes out and play with them. Like I kind of start jamming with
Okay.
them while we're thinking about this.
Yeah. So as you begin,
I tap my foot.
as you begin to join Mr. Music in this, it's almost like these sounds that are just coming from the two of you are spreading into this orchestral sound that it's instruments that aren't even there seem to be joining you in the sound, and it's just maximizing the effect of what you're doing.
I guess Osint asks, why? What is it about the nature of this place, or yourself, that makes the way you speak so cryptic?
He stops momentarily. What do you want the answer to that to be? And he keeps playing.
It just seems as if this island that we're on, nothing seems to be as it is. There are always people trying to either hide the truth or keep the truth from us for some reason.
But when does what is become what is?
Well, if it's fate that is truly guiding our path, then we have no control over when what is becomes what is.
And who's we?
The us that is.
Us.
Sure, the us that is. But what about the other part I've talked about? That's the part you're going to have to use.
The us that will be.
Yes. And you get to decide what that is. You do it all the time. Regularly. But only when you do. There's more than one way to exist outside of time. And you do it in at least 2 dimensions. As do I, in fact. I've just got more knowledge.
Harris, I see your
I'm
gears turning.
legitimately not trying to put all the work on Jackson here. I just have no idea what's going on.
So what do you want to happen here?
Our ultimate goal is to escape this place. As I said, the confusion and the horror that we've faced have are innumerable. We
So
do not want
what
to
are
be
you going to
here.
make to help you with that?
Our only lead is there's a source here on the island that controls the fog that allows the knock-knocks and other dark creatures to survive in
Again,
these dark places.
islands, no islands, makes no difference to me because I'm not out there, wherever you are.
We want to
But
go
where I
home.
am. So that's what you want.
That's what we
You
will.
want to go home.
That is what we are chasing.
So as you say this, what is home?
Does he say what is home?
The storyteller says what is home.
Osint does not really, until this moment, think about what going home means. Because to him, he was here for a specific purpose, and that purpose has been turned upside down left and right since he got here. So he has no answer to this question.
Right, so you're trying to make something happen here in the realm where you can make anything happen. And you've got no answer for the thing that you want. You can't even envision it, can you? Why do you think that is? That seems unusual for a person, yeah?
And until now, until saying it out loud, I didn't consider the fact that I have very little to go home to. I have nothing to go back to. But staying here on whatever this is, you keep saying island as if it is in quotation marks, does not seem like the life that doesn't seem like a life at all. It seems as if we might die here.
Luminous tries to brighten the mood and puts his arm around Osint and says, "You can come home with me."
Oh.
That's really
Osint starts to cry. He's actually openly weeping in front of all of you.
Well, this is beautiful. And he keeps playing the harmonica. The most beautiful instrument.
Outside of character, do you think this is a good time to bring up Sorsinius to Osint?
By the way.
No, wait, I got a question for you.
Now that he's vulnerable,
Well, I
stick
mean,
him.
that was not my thought.
This is what Luminous wants. Can we kill the Dark King and the sword?
It's a very Gen Z thing, I feel like, to do. I don't know what my justification for saying that is, but I feel like it's appropriate.
Hey, bro, I know you're hurting right now, but
I mean, obviously, like, Luminous is just scared to tell him. He really is. So, regardless to him, every moment's a bad moment, but he isn't going to bring this up until he stops crying.
my weeping stops, but I think what I lack most of all is purpose.
So you want purpose?
My plans are ever changing due to the tides of fate, it would seem.
Hey, Osint, I got a question for you.
It's really setting you up for this.
Yeah.
Yes, Luminous.
What do
Yes,
you think
my dear
about
friend.
Sorsinius? What do you think about Sorsinius?
I don't know that this is the time to speak on the.
Well,
sword
it
wraith.
it's there's something I really want to tell you, but I also don't know. But like, depending on your answer determines if I ask you this or not, or tell you this.
I put
How
down the
would
pipe
you-
and I ask who Sorsinius is.
How would
Osint,
my
do you-
answer determine whether you ask me the question?
You've already let the cat out of the bag at this point.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna handle it.
You say something and he's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I guess not. Okay. I haven't. Osint, I haven't told you this because I know you're one of the leaders of our tribe, and this really scares me because I know of Sorsinius. But when I was talking with the mouth, she informed me that I am a living relative of his, and I am also heir to the king of the end of the current world and to the new world.
So
And I
you
was
would
also
you-
told.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I was also told that if he finds out, he will kill me. But I am also supposed to try to kill him, apparently. And
You
I am
speak of
shooketh.
treason and usurping the
Say that
rightful
one more
heir.
time.
You speak
I
of
didn't hear what you said.
treason and usurping the rightful heir to the throne.
Apparently, I'm the rightful heir.
Because you're a descendant of the rightful heir.
Yeah, I'm also technically a rightful heir because I am a descendant.
Who told you this? You said the Witchblades.
Yes, I said the mouth did.
And what proof did she provide you?
Hey, Morgan, can you help me with that? I don't remember.
She licked my hand.
This
Yeah.
game has gotten so trippy.
So, as far as actual knowledge of like what proof she provided, you don't have a lot of that.
No.
She was essentially told you that Sorsinius would be a terror on this throne if he reestablishes the throne of Crimson Vale wherever he establishes it, and that they, since they know that you are a far better option,
They were not thrilled.
They weren't thrilled with the idea of him continuing into the new world.
And
that is a thing that happens.
And honestly, they were not thrilled that I was the only option. They were not pleasant. They were not happy. She was actually quite mean to me about it, frankly.
This news is somewhat shocking to me as well. I share no love for Sorsinius personally. This has always been the way that he is the rightful heir. There's no other information that we have, and it is.
All right, then I guess I know what I'm going to ask. And I look at Mr. Music and go, "Am I the rightful heir?"
What gave you all the impression that I was going to answer questions?
You said you'd give me knowledge. That's the knowledge I desire.
Oh, well, that is one way of anticipating that, but I said you would get what you want.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
So, what do you want here? Make it
No,
like you make.
rightful heir.
How can you know? How can you make what you want to confirm that and bring it here?
I want proof.
You would have to prove it in a way that was documented lineage.
The problem with that is they knew everything about me, even that I was adopted. They knew about my parents, me being something that nobody knows is that my professor adopted me when my parents went away, and they knew it. They knew everything about me.
I'm not saying that you're incorrect or that they're incorrect, but we have not been in the business of trusting the Witchblades up until the fact that we had to save people from the grinning sickness.
I mean, I completely agree, but it's something that I was also told, and I at least have to look at the options to see if it is true or not.
And you were told that according to them, if Sorsinius knows that you are a relative of his, he will try to kill you.
Yes, that is also true.
If you believe that you're the rightful heir and you're up for the task, as I said before, I hold no love for Sorsinius as the king. He is just, that has always been how it has been. If you wish to fight for your rightful place on the throne, I will do what I can if it is true.
I mean, I don't want to fight him, frankly. It sounds like a very awful experience, but at this point, it doesn't seem like I have any other option than see if that is the truth and then to fight him if I actually am the heir.
What if We know that Queen Clover at one point suggested that someone will have to fill a void here once Granny Grimm's is taken care of. What if
Mr.
instead
Music
of...
snaps his fingers and has a little notebook that comes up, and he starts like writing notes down.
I lower my voice when I see that. I kind of give him a side eye. What if instead of killing Sorsenius, you could convince him to take over this land? There are many powerful creatures, very powerful magic here. Might be in best interest of everyone if... I mean, why is he here in the first place? A king to be. What is he looking for? I do not know.
As a reminder for Kyle's character, the way it was described to you, because this kind of came up in your talk, was that Crimson Vale is not necessarily just a place. It's the throne of Crimson Vale is not locally tied. That for him to, it's more, the throne is more like a bloodline. Yeah. And while it has had a location that has only been one location throughout time, wherever he establishes a kingdom, that will be the throne of Crimson Vale.
But that
theoretically he could do it.
Theoretically, he could do it here.
But would that take away from Luminous's crown and throne?
If he gets back to, if he comes back to his true form and not the sword wraith or whatever they're called, blood wraith? No,
blade wraith.
Blade wraith.
Yeah, blade wraith. If he can leave that form and go back to what he's supposed to be, then yes, it would be an issue. Which is why I think he's here, is they're thinking they can change him here.
Interesting. So if that's the case, then you would have to be the one to take over that power vacuum here on this island before Sorsenius does.
I'm going to be honest, I really don't like the idea of it, but I got no idea what to do.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know why you've brought this up in this specific time.
While y'all are working on that, I look at Mr. Music and I say, when you say that we can't take it with us, do you mean out of this little time bubble or off of the island, whatever it is you...
My domain specifically, that's what I mean.
I go back to playing my...
Luminous response.
Absolutely nothing to the conversation.
Luminous responds to Osin saying, I truly desire if this is what my path should be. And I already talked to Killian about it and told him that, like, not knowing if you truly were a follower of Sorsenius.
I forgot you talked to me about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's still acting like he doesn't know who Sorsenius is.
He didn't really know who he was.
I think this was the part of the game that Harris was not there, but Killen was.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, and that is what you desire, then you need to figure out what you need to ask of this music man.
Yeah.
To fulfill that destiny. Maybe something that will kill Blade Wraith.
Yeah. But the thing is like if I'm not actually his descendant like they told me I am, then I would be trying to kill him. But then if I am trying to kill him, therefore the fate of if I'm not the relative won't be able to kill him. But if it is my fate that I am supposed to be it, he will die. Does that make sense?
Is that true, storyteller?
Because the thing is that the kingdom was supposed to be at the end. He is that kingdom that he was a part of was supposed to be at the very end, and he's going to be there. If that is true, and I am able to kill him, therefore I am his relative, his descendant. But if I am not able to kill him, therefore I am not his descendant, and he would be still alive.
What might be a simpler way to explain it, according to the way they described it, was that there are two possible paths that fate can take in this instance, and the only two possibilities is he kills you or you kill him, and that one of you, because the way the prophecy works, the subject of the prophecy is the throne surviving, which has to have somebody on the throne ruling the kingdom.
Which is why everyone's been hoping since
They know that, according to the prophecy, this throne is one that goes on to the new world. That's why it's called a throne of destiny. It's just a matter of who's on it that is not clear.
Yeah.
Got it.
So if I am his relative, I'm able to kill him. It works out, but I'll die if I don't.
Yes. That is what they told you.
And if they're lying to me and I'm not able to kill him, I'll die anyway, and it is what it is at this point. We're going to probably die on the island anyway.
So it seems both of your fates are intertwined to at least attempt to kill one another, and one of you will come out on top.
Yeah, he just doesn't know it yet.
Then you must ask yourself,
we call that
what
the
can
element
make...
of surprise.
Yeah, what can help you win this battle?
How do you poison a sword?
Be right back.
I don't even know how to ask. Because I can't just say, can I desire the knowledge? Because the knowledge I desire is how to kill a blade wraith.
Perfect. That's the knowledge you desire, right?
Say that one more time.
So that's the knowledge you desire, how to kill a blade wraith.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me how. Use the mind.
Oh my gosh,
beyond
I just figured it out.
The mind, and tell me how.
I just have to kill the one who carries the blade wraith.
You've got to kill the one who carries the blade wraith.
Yeah, and if he dies, then therefore the blade wraith dies. If he is in blade form.
That's fascinating. Learning something new every day.
Yeah.
Hope it helps you.
I hope so too.
So look at that. So what does it look like for one to carry a blade wraith?
You know, just be a normal person, be an individual that carries the wraith around with them.
So you're gonna kill the person carrying the blade wraith, and then the blade wraith dies?
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting quite murderous, aren't you?
I'm gonna have to.
On his harmonica.
Well, I don't see any other option if I'm gonna have to kill the blade wraith anyway.
And you're satisfied with the way that fate's gonna go?
Absolutely not. But I couldn't think of any other way, and I feel like I have a better chance of killing a mirror and being faster than any other way.
Right. How do you feel?
What if you tried to kill him when he's not in sword form?
I've never seen him in non-sword form, though. Like, he's very private about it. Only the ones who see it are the leaders.
I should have specified this probably at some point, but you just spoke a truth. And that's what it is. You can alter aspects of the things you spoke. But what you spoke is. You can add, but you can't take away.
So I need to add how to kill him if he is not in blade form. Or if he isn't not when he's not in the blade.
I think you just made it a reality that you have to kill him here.
Well, he's loyal to him anyway. He was going to have to die if we were going to fight him anyway. So, unfortunately, that's the logic conclusion is nobody is more loyal to Sorsenius than Emir. And he would have died for him. So now he does have to die for him because I'm an idiot, but that's beside the point.
So we're literally speaking truths into
This is a big
existence.
L.
We need to be very careful.
Yeah.
Right, so do you get it now? You've done it. Congratulations. You've done the first part of what it is to be here in this space with me.
You know what I should have done is like when I leave this area, I have the power to snap my fingers and kill Sorsinius or something like that.
But remember, you can't take what you make.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. What does
You
that
can't
mean?
change, but you can add.
I can add. If he's a non-blade wraith blade form, I can snap my fingers, and he could die as well. Just Sorsinius, no other blade race. Is that how it works?
I guess we'll see.
I mean,
Is that what you
I
guys
would have gone with
understand?
snapping my fingers and Amir dying, since Amir had to die.
All right.
That as well. I
So
also
who's
can kill him.
next?
I can
Who's
kill
gonna-
him here with my other hand.
Who's here to
Gosh, I'm
indulge in
terrible.
more of what you can do here?
I'm
Come
terrible
on,
at
you're
this.
getting so close to it. Also, you've got that glint in your eyes, Lion Man. Like you understand something.
I believe I'm starting to, thanks to Luminous.
Yeah, that's my bad.
However, I
We
still
fumbled our way into the answer here.
I'm glad I can help us get off the island. I'll be right back.
still trying to find out
Off the cry.
off to cry. What it means that we can't take it with us, the power itself to speak truth into existence, or the power that we speak into existence.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's a good song. Songs, you see, they have to be. The meat of a song isn't the thought it provokes. So who's next? Who's here to make something? That was one beautifully crafted example of what is possible. But there are so many dimensions in how you could use what you can do here.
I just look at Killen.
Shrug.
We helped Luminous find what it is that he wanted. What is it that you want? You like how I'm doing this? How y'all were relying on me and I'm putting the onus on you guys now?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We've had to go down so many different paths that, and so many different goals. I think I've lost touch with what I wanted when we first came to this island in the first place. And I don't know if what I needed or wanted then matters based on what's needed now. I came for the love of the game, the love of adventure, to find something new, maybe to get away from some shame of what was old. But now my best friends are sick. My people have been massacred. I just want life to be like it was, but better.
this a
I don't.
is this a bad time to say that this is could be your way to give back your homeboy his power by just doing something very simple?
Bad time to say it. If you'd have waited 5 more minutes, that would have been a bad time to say it.
Because that seems like something that you would care a lot more about than the tree.
What is it?
For sure.
Says,
For
have you
sure.
thought about
Actually,
a
I don't
coup?
think I even mentioned the tree just now. I was more focused on Tyrannus having lost his power and flies with the raven having laughing sickness.
What if you
Basically,
just
my people being in shambles?
what if you like were able to clap your hands? So I'm understanding this now after making a huge mistake on mine. That what if you just like were able to clap your hands when we leave this area, and like it almost like reverts time to back to that moment, and we can stop everyone from drinking that alcohol. Because apparently, if whatever we do is it becomes reality.
Okay, Kyle's got a point. So you could literally speak into existence the truth that nobody is sick anymore.
But what about the people that died? You're able to bring.
I mean, he
what
is
if we were
talking
able to
about
bring?
time, and so yeah, maybe you could reverse everything.
I mean, how many did you lose? 4, 5, 6 people?
We lost half of the tribe.
Yeah. And like
India lost quite a few
1,
people.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
then there's people.
That's
Then,
died in the cave, right?
is this a good time to
No. That's
to edit what I was saying as well, and saying if I clap my hands and I am the true heir of Sorsinius, that he just immediately dies and just bypass everything with the other options, just include it.
So it went from snapping fingers to clapping hands now.
Well, no, I can still snap my fingers, but that's only if the
Be
clapping.
very specific. Okay, got it.
Snap your fingers.
Is that how it works? You said I can amend it, but can't change it.
I said you can add.
I did add.
Yes.
I did add.
So what does it look like? Is it happening?
Yeah, when I walk out, I clap.
Everything that you've asked for is not something that you can even see here.
I know.
Right.
I have to clap.
And what I already told you is you can't take it with you.
So what if I just clap right now?
So what is the use of being in a place where nothing that happens here is going to come out with you? What do you make here that can be used here that can help you even when it doesn't come with you?
I mean, it comes back to knowledge and understand the knowledge. Because as you said, whatever we say is true. But if it isn't true, it isn't true.
Your knowledge of what you've said here so far, you created the reality in which that is what will happen while you're here.
But then the knowledge disappears once you go to the other side, so I'd have to clap right now. So if I clap right now, then he would die. I don't know if this is what's supposed to happen.
Do you
How
understand?
many people are going to be dead after we leave this place?
Sure. Yeah, let's just have the thought of Sorsinius and just start clapping and hope something happens.
So, again, you're in a space outside of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is future, what is past, what is present, it's all intermingled here. Every point at which any person has entered my domain is a point I see simultaneously. You're experiencing it in a perspective that your mind can comprehend. You, in your mind, might understand what I'm doing as something that I am experiencing with every other person that ever will and ever has and ever is right now in the same space. But what does that mean about you clapping and then Sorsinius dying? When does that happen? Maybe it happens for you in a future. Think carefully.
Osen just says, I am the true heir to the throne.
Honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that.
Osint.
I'm joking. I'm
And
joking.
Luminous.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
Did not say that.
Luminous dies instantly.
I'm our new character.
And you don't understand it, but Mr. Music says, he looks right at you, Osint, and says, are you sure you didn't mean that?
He
So
did
what
think
if
it.
What's
You're
that?
saying-
I said he did think it. Osen did think that. Because he's like, his gears are turning. Like, wait a second.
Because some of you are using your minds beyond your minds right now. You don't know what it looks like, you don't know its form, but it is there, and it's been with you the entire time.
Osen shoves that thought way down deep.
I really hate that I'm the heir. I'm not a fan of this. I'm gonna be honest.
I
'Cause, like,
only have like half a mind to begin with. I don't have a mind behind the mind.
so basically, like, what the logic is, like, because I'm thinking of the future. If I'm not being specific enough, so like, therefore, if I say like I'm gonna clap right now, as soon as we leave this realm,
There
Sorsinius
is no
dies.
now, you understand.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm using now in the tense of like the moment I am actually speaking to you. I understand that you're speaking to everybody at once, but for me, it's right now. I'm using my version of now, not your version of now.
But you're trapped in a moment that's not
Yes.
a moment. Sure.
Yes, exactly. So when we leave this realm, if I say I'm gonna clap, as soon as we leave this realm, he dies.
Well, you can't take it with you.
It has to happen here in the realm.
Dude, this sucks. Can I just say, like, a clap, he dies immediately right now.
It sounds like you really want
I really-
this to not be your bloodline.
I hope not, but I mean, if it is,
So-
it is.
Why not that?
Because if it's true that he's such an evil person, he doesn't need to be running the realm and be king. Like, somebody else needs to do it. I don't want to do it, but if I have to do it, I'll do it.
You said you don't want something, which is a form of desire. No?
You can have a desire for something, but doesn't mean that that's what needs to happen.
Oh,
So
so
you-
thought is creeping back up.
He
You
pushes it back down.
don't want to be
No.
the heir.
It's not what I'm saying.
Just can't
Are you
wait
sure?
to be king.
Yeah. It's not my first choice, but if it has to happen, it has to happen. And that's what I desire, is for good to happen. That's what I truly desire.
You want good to happen. What
'Cause
can you do here to make that happen?
Pray. I don't know.
He continues to
Pray
play
that
his harmonica.
Sorsinius dies.
I mean, anybody got any ideas? Because clearly I'm not understanding well enough.
I think you're on the right track. I mean, you have to make something happen, and according to this maybe lunatic in this realm of time and space that exists outside of time and space, it will happen the way you say it happens.
All the tension that your minds are beyond your minds are experiencing right now. The way they are interacting with each other is you just stand here silently looking at each other. Moments that aren't moments.
Outside of this realm, we're literally just still walking through the woods, frozen in a moment. Our people
In
don't
one
know what's
dimension,
happening.
sure. To be
Wait a
separated
second.
outside of time.
Hold on. How meta is this getting right now? Are we the minds behind the minds?
He looks over
That's
at
kind of what I'm thinking.
Killen and says, I felt a spark there.
Like, this has nothing to do with Killen and Osen and Luminous. This is Harris, Jackson, and Kyle.
You can hear me, can't you?
I hate this.
Oh,
I
Okay.
understand, but it makes it worse.
Which makes Jackson's
Here
joke
you
even
are.
worse.
and your little puppet can't really gauge what's happening right now? You can't you?
No.
This is good. That's good.
See, you've gone to a moment beyond space and time. That's exactly where you exist. Do you wonder why you don't know what your home looks like? Because you haven't made one yet for your past. You don't know what your future looks like yet because you haven't engaged with it. But you've thought about what it might be. Maybe. Even what your current self looks like, you're giving it to someone else to mostly control. But how much of that has to be true?
But it's too late on a Friday to think this hard.
Don't give up on us now, Kyle.
I'm not giving up, but I'm
not giving
thrilled.
up on you, Kyle. Not one bit.
Gosh. Can I ask you a question? What do you desire?
Sure, you can ask me. I desire for you to know what you desire.
You desire to know what you desire that. Okay.
I desire for you to know what your puppet wants.
Well,
okay.
I want my puppet to have the ability to kill Sorsinius if he is rightfully the heir. If not, Sorsinius can stay alive.
So why is it important to you? No, not to your puppet. Why is it important to you?
It's a better story.
So it's a better story for your mind in which there is no issue whatsoever. You just go out and the resolution happens.
Yeah.
Because it's safe.
It is safe.
For whom? For you or your puppet?
My puppet. It doesn't affect me. I can always create a new person. But he might die and he has these hopes and desires.
And you care about your puppet?
I do.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
He plays his harmonica inquisitively.
Jackson looks at Harris. His mind, watching Harris's mind race, trying to do weird math in his head.
I still don't know how that.
There's a little perspiration bead on Mr. Music's forehead.
So right now, the only thing for sure is that if I kill Amir, my character kills Amir. Therefore, Sorsinius does die if he's in Blade Wraith form. That one has been spoken in truth, correct?
You spoke a truth that would happen here, sure.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Is everything else that I've said been amended to go along with that, or no? If I'm able to speak the truth of what can happen.
Do you think it's relevant that you've decided to speak a truth in a space that does not exist?
Well, if you give me what I desire, then yes.
You can have whatever you desire here.
Which basically makes me think is like, regardless of what we do, we're just...
you cannot take it with you.
Yeah, so basically whatever we do here, it doesn't matter.
That's not true.
Or is it? Because like right now, Morgan's like listening to what we want. Storyteller. What we want, but doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. In fact, he might do the exact opposite. That's where I'm leaning right now. Morgan's like, I like messing with y'all. This is fun.
Think out loud, Harris. I want to hear what you're thinking.
I'm thinking about private conversations I've had with Morgan about the future of killing and what I want for the character. Hey, Morgan, or Mr. Music, or whoever you are right now, can you look at my character sheet under the notes section and see if that has anything to do with where I might need to be going right now?
I'll take a look at that for you. Sure.
Does he pull out a scroll?
Plot
Of
twist.
music.
Music is just a different name for Mr. Morgan.
Actually, you're actually going to have to tell me which character sheet you're talking about.
My Killen's character sheet.
Yep.
Under the features where it has notes under actions and reactions. Yeah, what you just highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Am I thinking along the right line and the conversation that we had surrounding that?
You can think all you want if you want that to be
That's not
relevant.
Okay.
Is that something you want? You can make it happen here. None of you have even tried to make a projection yet.
So, the reason I haven't tried is I don't want to do something that affects something in a way I don't want it to affect.
You care about your character as well.
I do.
Yeah. Interesting how that happens, isn't it?
I don't have another character built.
I've got 5.
I don't like to think about my characters dying. I never make backup characters.
Same.
Yeah, because it's the work that goes into it. I understand.
I'm always very emotionally connected to my characters.
I've got a computer programming right here that automatically generates characters for me. You think I'm joking?
No, I know you're not.
Let's find it.
So, you're all thinking very deeply.
I want to be enlightened.
You want to be enlightened. What does it look like for your puppet?
It looks like
Maybe I should wish for Luminous to not have grinning sickness. I desire that as well.
honestly, I straight up forgot that I have those.
Yeah. That's why I want us to go back in time and maybe we can redo the whole thing. Maybe that's what I desire.
But sorry, I'm reading back through what Mr. Music said to us earlier now that I kind of putting some pieces together.
That makes sense for a man in a room full of books, isn't it? You've all got very different spaces.
It's you can't take it with you when you go part that I'm still stumped on. Like, what will and won't affect things?
A lot of things.
What?
What will and won't affect things? What are things?
Things in the game, progress of the story, and what happens to other characters in the stories.
But he's not talking to our characters. We can't take it with us once we leave the space of the character.
No, you said we can't take it with him once we leave his realm.
What is his realm?
Zoom.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. Like,
I'm saying, like, I
reasoning.
think this is
But like, this has to affect the game in some way, or there's no
Right.
point to this conversation.
Exactly, which is why
That
I'm
seems
saying
reasonable.
he's referring to once we leave the realm of the game, it will not affect us as the player. I don't.
Or he's not going to get, or the other way around. He's not going to give us anything that's going to change, like, our stats or our, treasure, etc. But it does affect how we continue to play the game. Because he's speaking to our changing motivations over the last couple games.
Seems fair.
Like, what do we want? What do we want to pursue? Like, Kyle, do you want to pursue what you came here to pursue, like how to heal your friend, or do you want to pursue the throne?
both would be the answer.
Or, for me, is it pursuing the healing our friends at the risk of compromising my values with the witchblades, or doing things the way that my ancestors wanted, or doing whatever. So like, is he talking about our motivations? Like, the way Jackson interpreted it and the way that I interpret it are both valid but opposite ways to look at this.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that Morgan's just wants to know what we truly desire, and then he's gonna put it in the story in the future, one way or another.
Or he's going to use it against you.
That's what I think.
So
I mean,
many
that's-
options. So
That's what I
many
think. That's what I-
possibilities.
that's
and
what I
dimensions.
think.
That's fair.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Like, he will make conflict, because that's how character arcs work. They come with conflict. That's how characters grow. So whatever we say will affect the conflict moving forward.
Right.
Because that's what storytelling is.
Assuming that I have the power to do anything outside of my domain.
But your domain
Your
is everything.
domain is the story.
Yeah, because you're Morgan.
You keep saying that name.
We both know that music actually means Morgan.
Quick, what is music and an anagram for?
So fake. Okay, let's go back to a different conversation. Now that we know we're the minds behind the mind, let's go back to the conversation that Osa was having about.
So that means. So does that mean
things happen?
Oh, so that means that basically, since we're having this conversation outside of game, Osen doesn't know that.
But
Osen doesn't know.
Having this conversation inside the game. That's the whole point. So.
No, now we're the minds behind the minds.
We're the minds behind the minds. So therefore, like the conversation I had with you as
this is a Zoom conversation. This is not.
I understand what you're saying.
Osen.
So therefore, Osen has no idea of that.
We're being a Zoom conversation. It's not moving very fast.
You just like to see the world burn.
I like to see you get what you want.
I both hate and love this.
It's pretty interesting.
Yes, but also that means that Osen has no idea that Luminous is the heir, and we had that whole conversation for no reason.
No. That's not necessarily true. When we came in, our characters were talking.
But that's because we thought that it was them, but in reality it wasn't them. It was us behind the mind.
Or once we had the realization.
I made the leap that we were the minds behind the minds.
And then he acknowledged.
He acknowledged there was a spark, and we started talking as us. There were two different conversations happening within the last hour.
And now you see what it means when I say you're in a space, in a moment that's not a moment, where time doesn't quite flow the way that you think it does. Because time flows when you tell me that it does.
So,
So
Harris.
I just
So Harris, back to the conversation we had with him when we got there, and I said, or he explained that the us that was and the us that is and fate,
Mm-hmm.
and then the us,
And the us that you will be.
will be.
Mm-hmm.
We are the us that is that's making the decisions for the us that will be, being our character in this moment. So I think I mean I'm basically just agreeing with you that he's
then what's the point of him saying
This
like,
is a terrible time for me to walk away from this conversation, but Morgan just called me from the other room. They need to go see what she needs. Hang on.
okay.
Is that the Morgan you're talking about?
hi?
How's it going?
I like how you just see this right here. It's just
Is this Skylar or Riley? Oh, there you are. How are you? You're wearing the same shirt your dad has on.
And my sissy.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all are all matching.
how many teeth have you lost so far?
That's cool.
Very nice.
Y'all getting excited for Halloween? Is that why you're wearing skeleton shirts?
What's the going rate
Like
for
the Waterman household is always excited for Halloween.
That's
what's the
fair.
going rate from the Tooth Fairy these days? For a tooth.
Are you getting money for your teeth? You are? Lots of money?
A penny per tooth?
Penny, that's crazy. It's a lot of money.
Well,
I think I got $1
Is that what it says?
for every tooth I got that I lost.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you say $1? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a new Allen wrench.
Nice. So you got like a
I
set
just
of 30
kept
then?
taking the slightly bigger one out of the set. And
So you had a whole collection?
yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a video of like a young kid, maybe like a 4 or 5-year-old, and they give them like they have like $100 bill or a penny? They're like, which one do you want? And it's like they love the shiny, so they always go for the penny. And you just see the parents on the other side watching it, being like, "Take the $100."
Or
Or
it's
it'd be like
usually like a
or
$100 bill or
10,000.
like a plate of cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I saw them do it one time with like $10,000, and I think only one kid took it. Of like the hundreds they did. It's very fascinating. It was like to them, it's like the immediate response, like what you say with the cookies.
Yeah.
Then you have the ones that's like the marshmallow challenge. You guys seen that one, right?
Yeah, where they leave the room and they're like,
And
you
they
can have
marshmallow and
another
if they-
one.
Yes, you get a second one if you don't eat it.
Yeah.
But if you do eat it, you don't get the second one. And it's like showing, and it's fascinating how like
You
half
want to
the
do that
kids,
sometime?
half the kids don't eat it, and the other half do eat it. And it's like, how do they understand like the reward is coming when there's that current reward right in front of them?
Is that something you struggle with, God?
Not as bad as I used
Oh.
to. I mean, I did when I was younger. I don't now. I mean, like I would say like a great example of that is like people who like for some people who are able to put money into retirement. There's like some people that see like the goal is like if I do the X, Y, and Z every month for X amount of years, this money will be there for me when I retire.
And delayed satisfaction.
But then there's other people who'll be like, what's the point of doing it? Because you have inflation. I don't know what's going to happen. You have all this stuff, which is completely valid response as well. You have to like try to find the middle ground of it. But it's just fascinating.
Kind of like a character that could get everything they want right away, or could have to go
I knew
through
you were going
a
to bring it back
process.
to this.
I think that you enjoyed my idea of me having to fight someone to kill him to see if it actually happens or not, more than me clapping my hands.
Oh wait, I forgot. It's like the on-off lights, but it's just.
It's still that.
But it's
You
only
just
but
put
it's
somebody's
only
lights
if
out.
But he put his lights out.
But it's only when I'm thinking about Sorsinius in that moment, and only if I'm the heir, if I'm the rightful
You're
heir.
making very specific things.
Yeah, he's
Because I don't want to
getting
kill
real
anybody else if I don't
specific.
have to.
Harris, go for it, dude. Burst
All
out.
right. So, I think I'm there.
That makes one of us.
This is a game mechanic.
Okay.
So about a month ago, we were told that we were going to be able to change things about our characters if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Based on changes Morgan had made to the rules, to abilities, things like that. We're having the opportunity to do that in game and have an explanation as to why we're having a shift.
Okay. Morgan is smirking, so it's a good sign.
That's usually a good sign.
A little bit before, you said you came here for the love of the game. Is that what I heard? Things had changed for your character. But you had the game mechanic in your idea the entire time, didn't you?
What?
And you wanted enlightenment as well. That's something else you mentioned. For your character. Who's to say that the enlightenment that you're receiving now, even when the moment that you received it, because we don't exist in a time that works the way that you think it does, wasn't answered for you retrospectively?
I mean, like, how long is in game? It's been like what, 2 weeks?
What do you mean?
Like the theoretical end time that doesn't affect us, but affects our character has been like 2 weeks on the
So
island,
when you
right?
asked what we wanted, you weren't asking of characters.
I said the mind behind the mind is going to have to interact in some way, isn't it?
Isn't that what you said like 5 minutes ago, Harris? Or did I misunderstand you?
No, I may have said it, but now I'm understanding it differently.
Okay.
Maybe your enlightenment kicked in.
Hmm. Ask and you shall receive.
When I
You
was
asked for
saying
cocaine.
enlightenment, I was talking about. So I had a conversation with Morgan about kind of changing
To clarify, your wife Morgan or this Morgan?
the storytelling.
Okay. Because I know I've had
about
conversations with my wife about
the
this.
trajectory of Killen's story based on things that have happened to Tyrannus, and he was talking about making these changes in how our characters are built. We get rid of some things, add some new things, and that was an option that he gave us. And I wanted to start using some things from the monk career. And so we kind of talked about a change in the game where Tyrannus kind of helps me find a more enlightened path. That's what I meant about light. I wasn't talking about me, I was talking about Kelly.
Yeah.
And now I am what?
Sure.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to you.
So if I have a question, so talking to the three of us, what you're saying is like, since we have the ability to change what's in game, could I write like something in my sheet and that becomes reality? Or did I completely miss what you were saying?
No, I mean, I don't think it's going to change anything about the world in which we live, like in the game.
Yeah,
Like, it's not going to change.
but we have the
major
knowledge of how to do
things.
something.
But it does change what's on our character sheet.
Look at this. Luminous discovers the cure, and it was that Killian's idea was actually correct.
was a good one.
Just write that in my notes there.
That's what I'm doing.
And it's reality.
If I spell
But-
I
kill
think
So-
you
so,
are
okay.
all so close,
Got distracted.
so close
So-
to what you're after. Your puppets that you all have in control.
Okay.
When
In my
I
notes,
speak to anyone
reality.
in this space, we call me Mr. Music while I'm here. I might go by a different name somewhere else with any number of people. But
Your
here
name
with
Granny
you,
Grims.
that's who I am. You, compared to your character has no idea about you. But you know about it. What are you to your puppet?
Everything.
The obvious.
Everything.
The thing that most people go with is, oh, I'm a
God.
god to my puppet. But you
Would
have
you use-
limits, don't you? So, no, you
Can we-
can't quite be.
Can we use a different word for puppet? That seems really derogatory towards them.
You really love yours, don't you?
I mean, he's all right.
You control your puppet, don't you?
Yeah.
So what else would you call it?
We are fake.
I hear they do come in threes.
What?
The three fakes.
Oh. It's interesting because in Hercules they have strings.
So okay.
Whatever invisible things interact with you, wherever you exist, what's the relationship to you? Is there perhaps an invisible thing interacting with that? Levels upon levels that you could go, but your concern, your stewardship, so to speak, is for what I've been referring to as your puppet. So what is your relationship to that thing? You've discussed that you have a fondness, at least two of you, for this thing that you've been influencing.
Jackson, how do you feel about yours? About Ocean?
He's like a son to me.
So,
Or Sam getting compared?
I said that for the benefit of the game. He's not actually like a son of me.
does that mean that you have responsibility?
Absolutely.
Because this is a thing that you made with your own mind. You have a relationship with it. Maybe that's relevant, maybe it's not. But how do you honor that when you're given the opportunity to do anything for them?
My desire for Osint would be for him to be happy in whatever he does.
How is that going to happen?
It's hard to say if we're making the decisions for them.
But you've been doing that the entire time.
Then we make the decisions that would make them the most happy.
And I would think you would understand more than anyone what that would be. But you seem conflicted as to whether you do. You didn't even know what it would be like for the envisionment of a home for this character of yours.
It's with Luminous.
Home for Osint would be somewhere where he has complete agency and is not being bent by the will of other people. as he has almost his entire life.
He can do that in the New Kingdom.
I wonder where you decided
He could do that as king.
that was the kind of story that you wanted for this fella.
It's true.
How much do you think you put yourselves into the people that you play?
Some nights 0, other nights more than 85%. Like the Gen Z slang, man, it annoys me so much. Like a few words I get, but like what you wrote with ChatGPT, that was awful.
But the desire to be
Desires for a good story. I mean,
taken seriously, despite what others might think of you.
Yeah.
Despite your perceptions of what others might think of you. Or also agency and freedom that you feel like you're losing out on because you have to serve other people all the time to have any sense of agency in your life. We're killing this grand desire for adventure, but these frustrations that you are getting taken step by step in other directions and unable to focus in on these desires. Where do all of these things come from when you make characters that you had no idea you were going to love the way that you love them? And these can be completely rhetorical questions, and perhaps they should be. But how do you honor the thing that you make when it will never know that you are there?
Can you repeat the last 2 lines? I was distracted of reading something.
that's my fault.
Do you honor the thing that you create when it will never know that you are there?
It won't matter to the thing that we honor or dishonor, because if it doesn't know we're there, then it doesn't exist.
So
Outside
who
of
does
us.
it matter to?
Matters to us.
So focus in on that.
Lost me again.
You don't get to take anything from this place. And by you, I mean your puppets, your characters, your friends. You don't get to take these beings you've made from here. But you will know what's happened here, even if they don't. So what could your puppet, your friend, your creation know that would be of use to you for the benefit of your creation?
If you say how to kill Swift City, so help me.
I think we should be able to turn back time and just restart from that point on, and so everybody can come back. But that's just me now thinking about it.
But if we did that,
You're in the
and
wrong
nobody had
domain
the
to alter time,
sickness,
my friend.
If you did that, you would never have known that you were there.
I mean, that's all right. Then we can go back to our original missions, and we wouldn't have the grinning sickness. Nobody would be dead. But at the same time, what if we had the same knowledge?
That's not the question.
Yeah, I mean, the thing on, and honestly, for like my thoughts with Luminous, like I don't really have a path where I want him to go. I just want him to just have a great adventure and not die, and maybe keep his friend alive. Like in terms of like her, she's not bedridden because she basically thinks her life's over. And if I also have to become king so that Sorsinius isn't evil, that's also a thing he can do.
That's a whole lot for not having a path you want to go.
Say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
I said that's a whole lot for not having a path you want him to go down.
I mean, he's going with whatever happens in front of him. That's what's happened. He's just going with the vibes, the memes. Is that what some people say? Also, I may or may not be looking at the Gen Z Bible, as we've been sitting here talking.
I get the sense that for these minds beyond the minds, it is getting late. In the place where time matters, in the dimension for which it does for you.
But maybe time doesn't matter here.
Well, not for me. I could go on indefinitely.
On YouTube.
Sure.
On the cloud somewhere.
So, can you repeat your question again? What do we want our character to know that would be helpful for us playing the character? Is that what you said? Something along those lines?
What would be useful for your character to know, therefore you would know, that you could use to serve your character, even if they never know you're there? There is a wisdom in not allowing you to directly interact. And I'm not the one that made it that way.
Your keeper did. You're the puppet of someone else, so.
Absolutely I am. And I have no idea who that person is.
His name is Gary
Morgan.
Gygax.
He's super charming and good looking and makes you think deep within.
So, you see, perhaps I'm more bound than any of you. Just as I'm bound in this space that I've been given.
Don't stop believing.
I'll tell you what. I'm inspired by all of you. I like you. I'm going to let you get out of here now. Since this is the speck of time within the timelessness, this is the last time you and I are ever going to see each other. Because you only get one entry. Because you only get one exit. Because once it's happened, it does. And once it does, it has. And once it has, it is. But you can't take some things with you from the place that you make them. For very good reason. Because the place outside of that space is where the actual creation happens. You probably won't know what this means yet. But by the time any one of you meet your fates, you might know. So this is the last little speck of time, we'll say. If you have anything you want to make while you're here, even if it's just for the satisfaction of giving something pleasant to these characters that you love.
Harris, what was your desire for Killian that you ended up using, or doing, having?
I didn't actually say.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Because I don't actually know.
Your characters look around,
'Cause it
still
has-
thinking
it has-
about what's happening right now. It about a second has passed. They're still inside the domain.
Jackson,
Mr. Music is just playing his harmonica the whole time.
Jackson, what did you say for Osen?
I said that he desires agency over his own life because he hasn't really had that up until this point.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking like for us, Jackson, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the finale. Like I'll be the Fire Lord, and you can be the Avatar. Harris is in charge of the Earth Kingdom or the Water Kingdom.
I'm 100% King Boomy.
Yeah.
Killing what's purpose?
What purpose?
I don't know the answer to that yet.
He wants to start World War III.
At this moment, Osen realizes that his true home is here with his friends.
Oh,
So what is it? As I speak to the minds behind the minds, your little fellows aren't going to understand if suddenly some small pleasantry that they can have all the sensations of, if somebody wanted to have a blackberry pie, that could happen here. They would enjoy it. They would be feeling until they left. It would be gone from them, but the memory of having it, the memories are going to remain. You can't take the things that are made, but they will remember what happened within the grove. So even if it's something simple, a gift from the mind behind the mind to the mind that's in the game, what would it be?
I'd like Osen to have something to remind him of a time where he was not being told where to go and what to do. Something to keep hope alive for him and to be able to focus on and say, there was a time where I was my own person and there will be a time again.
Very strongly in Osen's memory. He doesn't understand where this comes from. What he receives is a memory of part of his life that did happen, in which he was a young cub, flying through the skies completely free of any thought of responsibility or service or anything. Flying through whatever kind of landscape you want him to be flying through. What did it look like?
Very wooded and mountainous area with streams and hills and rocky cliffs. Somewhere that spoke true nature and freedom all around him.
so like 20 minutes from your current house.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Parkway, actually, specifically.
It was Blue Ridge Parkway, canonically where Osen grew up.
You
Beautiful.
can see North Carolina from there as he's flying.
So he has.
Gets to the point where he can see 7 states at once.
He's experienced so much trauma and misery in his adult life that these memories were just not even there. And in fact, when he was taken under the control of the Barbed Queen, It was like any kind of pleasant thing that he had ever known in his life before was sapped away from him. But here, in this moment, he has this memory return. And somebody's got a reel going or something. And this is very powerfully going to him, and it feels like home to him, whatever this place is and however it comes about. Jackson gets to decide, because from this point on, Osint does get to know his past anytime he wants to know what it is.
Let's go, guys. Only took me an hour and a half to get there.
Now, what about the others? What do you want to give your friends?
I feel like I should have chosen see his future, but
I guess I'm still struggling with what exactly all this means and the way it was all spoken in riddles. Like how much of a physical manifestation of something we can ask for our characters.
You did physically manifest things when you walked into the grove.
Killen wants a an advisor that's closer than the ancestors. Someone who can help me figure out what that purpose is.
As Killen realizes this, it's almost like it almost doesn't feel like his thought. It feels like a thought that's been coaxed into his mind from somewhere. He has the realization that this desire to be guided to whatever is in store for him and whatever is wise and good. His ancestors have been a great use to him. But he's been right there the entire time. His brother, in all that they have gone through together, all of the wisdoms that Killen has ever needed in moments, especially right now. Taranis, born of the thunder, has always been the person that could provide that. And in a completely new light, Killen realizes that Taranis is the one that can help him see things the way that he needs to, because he's already proven that he does and can.
I have to run. Sorry.
And what about you, Kyle? What are you gonna do?
Horn. Because after Luminous was able to talk to the Witchblades, I learned that the amulet may not actually save my friend, but in reality it could just be something for a gain for my professor. I also want to know if any of that was true. Am I actually the heir? Has actually everyone been trying to hide stuff from me this entire time? Am his heir? I want to know how to if I am the heir to kill him so that my person become the heir and try to make something good happen instead of what the evil that Sorsunius would do. So I don't know what to ask for.
So Luminous is struck suddenly as well with his own tumultuous thoughts about what am I doing here? What can I ask for? What are the specific ways that I can get the exact dialogue that I need to do to make sure that I have all this? And then suddenly that dissipates. And instead he relies on established memories of the past. His very specific ones come just bit by bit through his head. And he remembers all the times that Professor Guire was short-tempered, was rude or condescending, all of these things. And then all the times that Professor Guire was sacrificial and kind and warm and loving and went out of his way not just to make sure that Luminous was alive, but to make sure that Luminous was happy. To make sure that Luminous had what he needed beyond just the survival. And in a moment, all at once, Luminous realizes that even if there is some kind of conspiracy going on, Professor Guire has been like a father to him. And not only that, in his heart of hearts, Luminous knows that this was a legitimate relationship. And no matter what the Witchblades say, no matter why they have the perspective that they do, even if parts of the things they've said are true, Professor Elton Guire loves Luminous like a son. So, here's the real crux of everything. If we'd all just come in and the mind behind my mind had told you that these are the things that your characters experience and gain, it wouldn't have meant much, would it? But because of what the minds behind the minds realized in themselves, this experience for your little friends, creations you've made, is different. Maybe not for them, but for you. The music of creating and having stewardship over a being that to you is imaginative. It's just a vapor, but loving them anyway. That's the music of imagination and beauty and care and generosity and good things. Music is something that is made, and you've made it with these wee little people. But I think it's time that they leave the domain. It was great to get to interact with all of you. We eventually go there.
Only took 2 hours.
The things that you gifted to your creations. They matter. And they'll be remembered. But I can feel it pulling me away now. So, ta-ta. This is the last we'll ever see of one another. I hope you have a good story. He starts to fade. He slowly seems to be turning into like a blue mist. And then finally, you're there in a grove that has nothing in it, and the witchblades, the three of them with you, look around on edge because they're not sure why everything in their sight just disappeared. The hand says, "What just happened?" Sorry, I forgot his accent. What just happened?
Did they see everything, but they were just not inside the realm?
Based on where they're standing and everything that just happened, you feel like the moments that they were walking around looking at like the butterfly and everything, that was there. But the exact positions they were in, it was like everything you experienced when Mr. Music revealed himself was a moment that wasn't even a moment. No time passed the entire time.
So it was like a blink, in the blink of an eye, they saw everything and then it was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be the same response from our characters as well? Since we technically, they never talked, they weren't really talking to Mr. Music as either.
Yeah, so they are not even aware. They seem to not be even aware that he was there. But all those specific memories and realizations, you guys do have.
I don't know what we just saw.
No, we need
mysterious
to keep moving.
work afoot in these woods.
I'll be right back.
Let's keep moving if we're gonna make time. Come on. We have no time to dawdle at whatever this strange place was. And they continue to lead you onward. And I will wait before we end until Kyle's back in a moment. Again, you are with the hand and Vilas Vorus. And let me see who else you were with. And Gom, the fungal folk. But as you continue to sort of gather together and march onward with them, all realizing that something strange just happened, but can't quite make sense of it. This place was there. Little guy appeared, said some things, and then out of nowhere, he just disappeared. And everything with him. Do you have anything that you guys want to interact with regarding each other? And if not, I'll have just a little more of a segment here.
I just look around at the other two and kind of wonder if any of them are feeling differently after the last few seconds that we just experienced in the woods. But Osund has a smile on his face.
I think Luminous is crying currently. Because now he doesn't know what's going on, except that he knows that the professor is like a father to him. But then he doesn't know anything else, and he made a pact that he kind of regrets now, but has not said that to anyone else. He's kind of just like trying not to cry, but kind of crying. So I would assume that Osint would see that and feeling different.
Dylan is humming the song that Mr. Music was playing on the harmonica, but I don't know why it's stuck in my head.
As you go on for about another 30 minutes or so, you guys take a short break and are huddled together with these people that don't really talk a whole lot. And as you're doing this, you hear nearby this sort of sound of, it sounds like something striking a tree over and over, and then sometimes and the hand gets up and immediately says, "Come on, we're gonna go see what that is." As he guides you all closer to this area, there's sort of a little ridge. You get all up close to it, and you see kind of a bruised and worse for wear. You're not sure how they would have gotten this far, but you see a small group of the people that you left back at the encampment. There's sitting up on a ledge that's lower than yours but higher than the rest of this group is Father Raoul, and he's kind of not dejected but looking very thoughtful and looking down the hill at Carlos, who is swinging a very large sword into a tree, and he's obviously practicing his sword swings on a tree. And Otago is here. They look like they have an encampment, which is shouldn't really be possible. They have this small little camp here. Shouldn't be possible based on the amount of time that it took for you guys to leave and go forward and experience what you experienced. But because they could not have made it this far. And why are they out here in the first place? But with them, you see Amir, Cephas, and Shiram, and the blade of Sorsinius is on Shiram's belt. And as everybody is here interacting very minimally with each other, sort of in this space, Father Raoul looks up. He's been looking right at Carlos and looks very conflicted and weary emotionally in the eyes. But he looks up and sees all of you there and says, "Oh, you're alive."
It has not been that long since we left you. Of course, we're alive. How are you? How are you even here?
He stands up. Not long since you left, and as you all start sort of descending down to this area to get nearer to him, and the rest of the group down below doesn't see you yet at the elevation change that you're at, but Raoul is here. We followed your trail after we heard nothing for 4 days, and it disappeared. So we made our own plans. What do you mean you haven't been gone that long?
We just left the cave encampments and made our way through these woods mere hours ago.
The hand says, I've heard that the way that the Fae interact sometimes, we're well aware that they can alter time. I think that place must have altered time for our perspective. We must have been in some kind of crossing. It was only maybe minutes or seconds or hours for us. but it was days out here.
What has become of the people with the sickness?
Father Raoul sighs and looks over at you, Killen. There was one loss. But a kind of success as well. But don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to say that anyone died. In fact, it might be worse in some regard, but I'll speak plainly. I think that we found a way to manage the sickness, but your friend, Taranis, the way he accomplished this, I still don't understand. But he seems to have taken it upon himself. And he is fine. By that I mean he is alive. But he has to be in a constant state of meditation. The rest of the group had to move. An event happens that led him to have to do this. They escaped their bonds. Chaos ensued. Fortunately, no one else was killed. There were some injuries. And it disrupted the security of the entire sanctuary we had. So we didn't know where all of you were, so people split into different groups with different objectives. I don't know where everyone is at this point because there are monsters in these woods and people have been separated. We have these crystals by which we can contact one another, and this is a good reminder that Osen, you should have one of these in your bag from the time that I did the really long dialogue of it's something that I just failed to remind you. It's like a telepathy rod you can put in your inventory. But he says, so this is the group that we have here. And of course, he's just somewhere nearby, but we have Thimen with us as well. We were going to try to find you if we can, but other than that, go to the source of the fog. But I am supposing now, he looks right at the hand, that you would have different plans, wouldn't you? And the hand says, yes, these people are coming with me. You could think all you want that this person that... Sorry, I'm getting my accents mixed up. You can think all you want that this person is meditating his way into having this grinning sickness cured. But I guarantee you, whatever he's doing, it's not going to be enough. Raoul says, we shall see. Our plan remains the same. You, all of you, you're coming with me. And we're going after these knock-knocks to get our plan figured out. And then we'll find our people after. And finally, you hear coming up from the bottom area, climbing up this portion of the hill and grabbing some of these branches. Oh, very good. This is exactly the thing that I was hoping I would have somebody say finally. This Carlos makes his appearance. And as you see this, you see that Raoul clearly has not the greatest feelings about this as he looks over toward Raoul, towards Carlos. But he looks at all of you, and Carlos says, so, as I understand it then, by whatever means you were delayed, it seems fate still has this in store for us. Are you still sure you are going to do it the way that you've intended. Try to capture these things. And he makes direct eye contact. He's almost like face to face, nose to nose with the hand. And the hand doesn't speak. He just looks at him, stares at him, and they stare down at each other. Well, then I'm going to help you. And we're going to end it there for right now. So, you all get 40 XP. And
How painful was that for you, Morgan?
A little bit. Switching back and forth between accents or something else.
No, the fact that it took us an hour and a half to
okay.
figure out what you were doing.
I actually thought that worked out really well because it was kind of for me symbolic a little bit. So it really was like the thing that Mr. Music said at the end, where like if you'd come in and you just got told by your storyteller that you suddenly have this memory, this thought, it wouldn't have meant anything. But
Right.
as the result of all of that other context and dialogue with the players, the experience was completely different. And that was kind of partially the kind of thing I was trying to explore and see if we could get after something like that. And I've wanted to do some sort of meta break for a while in a way that made sense for the story. So anyway, yeah.
That was cool. Very cool.
Does this mean
breaking
that
the fourth
Luminous
wall.
doesn't know how to kill? Doesn't know how to kill Sursinius?
Luminous remembers what he discussed in there.
So this is rough because now he doesn't know if he's the actual heir or not after talking to Osen. He's like, man, I should have asked more questions. It's a big L on my part.
But yeah, you guys did that really well. My favorite part probably was when Mr. Music directly said Kyle's name. Yep. So good job, Harris, for realizing the what it meant to be a fourth dimensional being, the fourth dimensional being compared to the beings that think they're three-dimensional beings. Yeah, that was fun.
GG's.
So, if everything works out well, I want to give you guys a quick glimpse of something if you have a moment. I'm going to open up my drive, and if I can get sharing privileges, I'd like to do
good.
that. Let me pull this up. If I can find it, apparently I don't have I don't know how to find my starred thing. There. Okay. All right. I'm going to show my video for just a second. Show my screen. If I can. Share screen. All right. So this doesn't look like much right away, but this is going to be the basis of how I do the future character sheet because I'm almost done getting everything in here. So the way this would work, assume this looks better and it's on an actual character sheet in Excel. I go over here, I type, I don't know, mob mentality. It pops up with all the details in it. Or I say, I don't know, I want ice armor. And it shows up with all the details in it. Just like that. The way that body points and everything are going to work, it's going to basically anything, you can have an unlimited amount of reactions, but every reaction costs an amount of skill points. So you will be able to do that kind of thing. It's going to be a lot more like, I'd like to do this right now kind of thing. But I currently have, let me look up the exact amount. There are currently 515 features in this, which is why I'm creating the simplified way of documenting like what you guys can do where it's like, I want complete freedom, or I want to be sort of guided in how to make, I want like a skill tree, or I want just like, give me the basics. There will be 3 main ways to create a character. It's like beginner, intermediate, advanced. You have the same options with every single way you do it. It just helps you along to be like, this is what I want. So yeah, currently there are 515 of those. So this entire thing is my reference sheet for doing all of that. It has all of them in here. Lots of different kinds of mechanics that are way simpler to use than some of the things we've done before, and a lot more intuitive. And yeah, so that is the nature of what we're doing here. I'm out, so I've got like 40 new different kinds of species that are going into the new book for background stuff. Anyway,
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it'll also bring it up, so if you just want to like type a G, you'll see all the kinds of things that you could potentially do, and it'll be very easy to navigate that way. Yep, so that is what I wanted to show you guys. And so let's see, I don't have mind control in there yet, but that was one that I was going to do. There's one that you actually are familiar with. So every single class feature can be improved, because one of the mechanics of the new thing is like every so often when you level, you actually have the option to say, I want an improved version of this ability. So usually for a lot of them, that refers to this costs less resources to use. So if I put battlefield command in here, but let's just say improved battlefield commands. Let's see. So this one, basically, this affects 1 ally. This one affects 2 allies. That's one of the ways that this one's different. So you having the same abilities as another person are probably going to have different abilities based on which ones you've improved and which ones you haven't. Things like that. So it's sort of another easy thing where it's like, I just want to know, like, I really like this ability. Say I like Fire Blast. Very simple. Target takes 1 damage and gains the burning condition, but I really would like to improve that. Your attack roll may target up to 2 targets at one time. And that's sort of just the way it is. So the improved versions of some of these things are like, oh, you can target more enemies. Anyway, that is what I got for you guys. I wanted to show you what this is, but my stuff that I've been working on and coding and whatnot. It's all pretty simple, but in the coding wise, but it's been really cool to be able to make.
What formulas are you using for it?
I am just using, I think I'm just using mostly like, yeah, so if error with VLOOKUPs to refer back to the pages. So if, you know, A2 has this in it, VLOOKUP refers over here to these particular VLOOKUP codes that refer to the actual things here. So super simple, and they just are formatted in this way where each of these are individually formatted. What's
the indirect function do?
I don't know exactly, because I used when I was putting this together, I used AI to help me make sure that I was doing these functions correctly, and that's when it put in there. So I'm not actually sure. But this is not Excel, this is Google Sheets, so it's a little Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's really awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So hopefully this will be implemented very soon. And assuming that I don't have work events that I'm there till 9 o'clock again, like I was yesterday. So, all right. Well, thanks for playing, guys. Yeah, sorry to break your minds a little bit, but
it was really cool.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad. I was a little worried that it was going to be kind of hokey. So,
it took me a minute, but it was good.
Yeah, it wasn't hokey. I was more worried of like, we're not getting this, and he's gonna be upset that we're
No, I sort of had it in my mind that like gradually, if you weren't getting things, he would like every 10 minutes I'd be like, what can he say that might get you a little closer? Until finally, it was just he wanted to help.
Right.
He's like, y'all are going making me go crazy.
Yeah, but I always wanted him to be more benevolent than malicious. So, which actually is a theme with the 2 domain lords that you've met so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Thanks for
that
playing,
continues.
guys. Yeah, let's hope.
Yep.
Probably
Thanks
not.
for
GG's,
playing.
guys.
Yeah.
See y'all.
See ya.
Bye.